A lot of the speculation this offseason has been around what the Chicago Bulls are going to do with the future of their backcourt in Coby White and Josh Giddey, as both are due for extensions, one this year, one next year. Where, according to HP Basketball and one of my colleagues, Matt Moore, there's growing thought around NBA execs that Coby White and Josh Giddey both will not be retained by the Chicago Bulls. It may come down to one or the other. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Hayes, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, there, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. So this one comes from HP Basketball. Like I said, my colleague Matt Moore, who I actually do Locked On NBA with every day, Monday through Friday, he reported this in his article today that there's growing thought from NBA execs in the Eastern Conference and around the NBA that the Bulls are not going to keep both Josh Giddey and Coby White. Now, take this with a grain of salt. It is what it is. There's going to be a lot of speculation. I do like the way that it was reported as there's speculation from NBA execs. This is outside of the Chicago Bulls. This is not something that's coming internally from anybody in the Chicago Bulls, but it does raise a question. If the Bulls are unwilling to make that type of investment in both Josh Giddey and Coby White, and they re-sign Josh Giddey this offseason, what does the plans then mean for Coby White, and what do they plan to do with that savings? If that means it's more of a likely of a scenario that Ayo Dosunmu stays around on a higher deal or something like that. Those are the type of questions that of course makes my mind go to, and that we won't have the answers for, at least not right away, but it raises some concern. Coby and Josh Giddey weren't the most natural fit together. I don't think anybody would, even the guys who were fans of both, it wasn't the most natural fit. They had to work on it throughout the season. And after Zach LaVine did leave the Chicago Bulls, they were able to find the rhythm a little bit more because it was basically just them. And they found a pretty decent rhythm throughout the season. I do think they get along. I think most the players on this team that were there last year got along pretty damn well. And even though that this is a backcourt that I would personally like to see continue to be invested in, this is a business. And I think that that's what this kind of signifies more than anything, is the business aspect of the game of basketball. When you look at the investment, if Josh Giddey's going to get near $30 million, Coby White's going to probably get over 26-ish million dollars as well. You're looking at about a 60 to 65-ish million dollar investment on your backcourt. Now, you better believe that is the backcourt that you at least want for the future. You may still be waiting on a better player, things like that to come along if that's what you do, but that's probably what the Bulls are looking over in this time. Like, is the backcourt that they want to invest in, is that Josh Giddey and is that Coby White, and can they do it together? How much time are they going to give for this to decide if that's going to work out as well? Like, is this something that when the ink dries on Josh Giddey's deal, are they already looking to move on from Coby White? Are they going to allow them the start of the season to continue to see that chemistry build and stuff like that? Or and maybe make a move at the trade deadline if it doesn't work out? Are they still open to keeping both these guys? That's the questions that it all comes to my mind when it happens. Overall, I think these are two competitors that want to win basketball games, that did a lot of things to kind of make themselves be a more seamless fit together. And they were the engine of the offense last year for the Chicago Bulls. Now, I think when you have two players that both thrive off cutting and driving to the lane, that kind of makes it. We saw it against the OKC Thunder game, for example, and against Miami. It makes it a little bit easier to guard those guys. But I would like to say you go out and get some scores. You get a lob threat. You get a defensive center. Who knows what it is at this point? I'm tired of the Bulls always taking one step forward to potentially take more steps back. And that's really where this team has been at for years at this point in time. Now, it's been one thing after another where we really never really build in the way that good franchises do, or franchises that have a focus do. We just talked about on today's morning episode how the Bulls seemingly were setting themselves up to potentially give contract extensions to all their guys, and they had a time limit on that, right? With 4 and 3 year deals to kind of overlap with your pending contract extension of Matas Buzelis and stuff like that. So to hear this it's a little bit anti to that. But like I said, this right now is speculation by the NBA execs. And, when we hear that type of thing, that could mean it could be anywhere from the assistant director of paper with the Indiana Pacers that's saying that, or it could be somebody as much as like an actual GM or president of basketball operations. But I'm sure teams are circling and hoping and thinking, well, if the Bulls do make this move, and that's what the speculation really could be, is that teams are looking at and saying, well, if the Bulls re-sign Giddey, what are the chances that they are then going to pivot and look to move Coby? And teams could be setting themselves up to try to be ready and be in a position to try to acquire Coby White or be in those trade talks while that's happening. There's a lot of different moving pieces that this could be. Ultimately, we'll see what it is once the ink is dried on Josh Giddey's deal and we start having some forward progress on what this team's going to be. So we'll see what ends up happening with that one. We got Brad in the building. Shout out to Brad. We got Josh in the building as well. Team Scare says, what type of player would fit better than Coby with Giddey? Oh, is that a serious question? Somebody who's a better catch and shoot player. Somebody who's more like Coby White is not good off ball. He's taking steps there, but he's not good on ball. So if you have Josh Giddey as a ball dominant point guard, having somebody that is better at creating their own shot without the dribble, that's not something Coby White has been good at. Somebody who's a more natural 3-point shooter. Coby can shoot threes and get hot from three, but he's not this type of like 3-point shooter where it's like he has to get in rhythm by driving to the lane. So you would look at a player that can come off catch and shoots, that is really good at that type of thing. That's the kind of best player that you're looking for with Josh Giddey if you're looking forward to that, and a defender. I mean, keep in mind that too. Somebody who's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, who's a better defender, especially to cover up some for where Josh Giddey lacks defensively, even though he's made strides in those areas. But that's the type of player that you'd be looking if you're looking for a better pairing next to Giddey than Coby White. Josh says, this was always going to be true. Giddey does a lot of things, but doesn't defend well. Coby also does one thing really well, score, but one thing decently pass, play make, but also doesn't defend. Yeah, I wouldn't say that is a foregone conclusion. Look at Cleveland. Neither one of their point guards, they're both small, and neither one is a good defender. So it really depends on how you build out the team. So I won't say that just because if they re-sign Josh Giddey, that automatically means that that they should be looking to move on from Coby. You just got to build the team in the proper way going forward. I believe that the Bulls are most likely keeping Giddey. I like both, but we'll see. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Coby will ultimately need to be replaced with a two-way scoring guard. You can hide one guard on defense, can't hide two. No, you can hide two. That's why you need a rim protecting big. Because like Coby and Josh Giddey, where they struggle at is allowing the point guards or the other guards to penetrate. So if you have a better shot blockers around there, you can make that work. You can definitely make that work. I think both, that's for sure. Again, AK might draft another guard considering this franchise. We'll see. And I'm sure that's probably part of the speculation as well, is especially hearing around the Dimon thing. So, we'll see with that one. Trey Johnson would fit perfectly next to Giddey. He's a really good shooter. Maybe he could explore a deal to move up for Johnson. I was the one, I said early into this draft process that if you were going to look to move on, again, not saying I want them to, if you were going to look to move on from Coby but keep Josh Giddey, Trey Johnson is basically the perfect guy for that. He is, but I doubt they're going to be able to get him. What's the ideal starting five with GMC? What's the ideal starting five with only GM and no Coby? Well, that's a perfect starting five is hard to dictate because you're not going to clear out all five of your players just to fit around one player. So that's kind of what you're looking at. I just think that this is a complete bullshit because one player has shown year after year, despite having inconsistent role every year, he's been here. I feel you on that. And that is one of the things I look at with Coby. Who knows how Coby White could develop if he got to focus on one role that he needed to do every offseason. He hasn't been. I always go to the comparison of Kirk Heinrich, right? Kirk, when Derrick Rose came to the team and after we lost Ben Gordon, Kirk spent that whole entire offseason adding weight, changing his body so he can be prepared to play more shooting guard and be more of a natural fit next to Derrick Rose. But you know why he was able to do that? Because he knew that was going to be his role. He knew now with Derrick Rose's ascension, being rookie of the year, Ben Gordon's out. Now I'm going to be a starting shooting guard. That is going to be my role. I can be the starting shooting guard. And he really worked on that and became that really well. So that's the thing when you have a player, and I know people are like, well, what does it matter having the same role? It matters a lot for how you prepare for the offseason. It matters a whole hell of a lot. actually, to be honest with you. For example, we tried to make Coby White a jump shooter for the majority for the first 2/3 of the season, and he adapted pretty well to it, but that wasn't necessarily the role he left off last season being. So those things can become very difficult when you don't allow a player to kind of focus in on what their role is going to be. I don't like Giddey being the main ball handler. He makes good decisions with the ball, but his scoring ability can be in question with the limited bag. We need a dominant six-man like Ben Gordon. What do you mean? You don't have to be a good scorer to be the primary ball handler. When your best attribute, like Josh Giddey's is setting up other players. So he doesn't need to be some amazing level of a scorer. Now, I do think that Josh Giddey still has a lot that he's adding to his bag scoring wise. And we saw it over the last half of the season, but he's going to have to continue to develop that, right? And we shall see. Again, goes to roll. Talking about rim defenders, would it be possible to push Carter to the Mavs with Lonzo for Gafford? And would they want something else since Carter has not been the guy we hope for? First of all, if they take Javon Carter and Lonzo Ball for Daniel Gafford, you take that deal and you run for the hills. Before they have a chance to change their mind, you run for the hills because Javon Carter isn't part of the plan. And Lonzo, while I love Lonzo when he's on the court, his injury history, I'd rather take a shot at a player like Gafford, personally. So the only argument for me to keep Coby is if you're keeping Giddey is if Coby takes a Jalen Brunson style leap. Well, and depending on how you want to build that team out, for sure. We've seen Coby ceiling. No, we haven't. You can't see a player ceiling when they haven't been able to stay in the same role year after year. You just can't say that. Now, maybe, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying that I can't say that with a clear mind because his role has changed so drastically every year that he's been in the NBA. But having a two-guard, Kenny call them true hoopers helps those shot making the team defense better. I'm sorry. Maybe it's me being tired. That sentence makes no sense to me. And I'm not trying to flame you. I have no idea how to respond to that. None. I have no idea how to respond to that. Giddey is closer to age to Matas. Josh makes the offense flow better when he's on ball, but giving Matas room to grow his game should be the goal this offseason. Moving Coby seems like the best option. We'll see. We shall see. I love Coby White, and I've always backed him, but that just seems like the best move to get more assets to build with. I don't think you're getting a whole bunch of assets for Coby. I think this is the thing, too. I think Bulls fans think you're going to get a lot more back for Coby White than what you're going to get in reality. Now, I'm not somebody who says you're not going to get anything back for Coby, but if anybody's thinking you're getting multiple first back for Coby White, you're not. Let me go ahead and bust that bubble right now. You're not, and I said it before, it's the Bulls' fault if that's what they do because they've changed his role so dramatically year after year. It's hard to build momentum. You're not getting multiple first-round picks back for Coby, not even if they're protected. I'm telling you that right now. Please. Everybody who was looked at the Orlando was like, well, we can't do that for only the 16th overall pick. When I tell you that's probably the best you're going to get for Coby, maybe lower lottery pick. Maybe you can get a 14 or 13. But if you think you're getting multiple first-round picks back for Coby White, you got to check your expectation. I can promise you that right now. And again, I hope that this never comes to pass because I hope Coby White's not traded. But you're not getting multiple first-round picks back for Coby. So this plan that people have in let's trade Coby and stack assets. You mean get a singular asset? Because that's probably what you're looking at. That's probably what you're looking at in that case. Go back and look at what the Bulls got for Jimmy Butler. Go back and look at what the Bulls just got for Zach LaVine. You're not typically getting a lot of assets back. I'm just saying. Giddey averaged a 20-point triple-double post All-Star break, and in the play, he didn't average a triple-double. That's just not correct. He didn't average a triple-double. Why do you keep coming in here and saying wrong? You know what? I don't have time for your stupidity for the rest of this stream. I'm putting you in timeout. If you're going to come in here and say something, say it. Make sure it's factual. He didn't average a 20-point triple-double. But he did have really good numbers, but it wasn't a 20-point triple-double. But Giddey's good. Giddey's going to be good. Now, he has to prove that he can do that and not just after the All-Star break. He can do that for a full season, but Giddey has a lot of potential. I like keeping Giddey as a discount price, as rumor says. He earned that. Hopefully the crippling overpay isn't in the mix. With this front office, you never know. I would like to see at least two free agent signings. You're not going to see two free agent signings. First of all, we don't have the roster space for two free agent signings. But I don't think any deal for Josh Giddey is crippling. Like he didn't qualify for the Supermax. I don't think you're going to get a crippling deal. Like the Bulls cap situation is way too good for any type of deal for Josh Giddey to be crippling right now. I don't see it being that. The more and more I sit back and think about this, I'm not surprised that White might be the odd man out because he was not a pick or trade or signing. But that's kind of overblown. I get it why people go to that like, oh my God, he's not their guy. Yeah, but when you re-sign him, he's your guy. They like if they were just so stuck on having people that are their guys, they re-signed him. That's their guy. Keep in mind, they gave him the contract that he's on now. That's not the contract that he had when the Bulls came in here. They re-signed him to a 3-year contract. So he's their guy. Currently, the only player I'm confident that can get their own bucket is Coby. Besides that, if we keep just Giddey, then we should have to rely on him to orchestrate the whole offense all the time. I mean, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. No, we didn't even get a first for Caruso, so I definitely don't expect much back for Coby. And that's what it is. I'm glad you guys are definitely realistic. I'm not emotionally tied to Coby, but at the same time, this is a person that didn't believe in Coby White. And I will admit, I'm thinking trade him at first, but damn, we did him no favors. We didn't do him no favors at all with the way that we've handled Coby White over his NBA career. None. I just want you to speculate, Hayes. How about this 5? Giddey, Io, Matas, Newell, Reed, or some other sign and trade like Gaffey, Taffy. Okay, cool. I mean, there's a 7 seed in the East. Like until like that's why I don't do that. I'm too literal. Because yeah, you can have names, but how do they fit? How does Matas take a step up? Because if you move Matas to the 3, I can tell you if his shooting doesn't get better, he's gonna look worse. So I get what you're getting at with that, but I don't know. I don't know. Bulls should keep White and Giddey for now. They should also look to add some shooting in free agency like Beasley. I like Luke Kennard shooting, but his defense is not what Chicago needs right now. I mean, yeah, I get what you're getting at. This is what he averaged after the All-Star break: 21 points, 10.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists per game. My bad. That was about the backcourt defense, Coby and Josh. Oh, got you. Isn't it wild that both Chicago Bulls legends, Alex Caruso and Tony Bradley, are playing for the championship? First of all, I can get you calling Caruso a Chicago Bulls legend, but you giving Tony Bradley that? Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Do we trust Giddey enough to be the main guy all the time though? Because Matas would have to take a mega. I don't trust anybody. Like look, and again, this is just me being realistic. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers to be the main guy every night yet. I don't like, and that's not a knock on them. They need to show it and prove it. But I don't trust Coby to be that yet. He's not been as consistent as he would need to be for me to trust that. Don't trust Josh Giddey to do it yet because, again, his offense kind of comes and goes. He had a great post All-Star break, but he got a lot of things to work on. Matas is way too young, with too raw. His shooting is too raw. He doesn't do anything. Everything is either at the rim or three-point line. So that would be crazy to say that you could trust him to be the main guy. No, we don't have a guy right now that I trust to be the main guy offensively. We just don't. We don't. Hopefully that changes this season. That's the hope, right? Crippling is relative, man. Look at P. Will's deal. That is crippling to this team in limited sense. No, it's not crippling at all. P. Will's deal isn't stopping anything for the Bulls. It's not. It's not stopping anything. The Bulls still could have $60 million in cap space. That deal's not crippling to the Bulls, not whatsoever. It sucks because you gave that money to a player that just doesn't show any ability to care about how they play, but it's not crippling. That's not crippling. Even if Josh Giddey regresses, it's still not crippling. Like, crippling to me means you have no mobility at all. That's what crippling is. The Bulls aren't crippled even in those scenarios that you laid out. We got too much cap space right now. Bulls need to move some players to make roster spots available, then sign some free agents. A roster upgrade is completely plausible. This roster is iffy at best. Yeah, but you're going to upgrade by hopefully players taking a step, getting your draft pick. Like, I get what you're saying. And if the Bulls want to become free agent players, they can. They got one open roster spot and about $18 million in cap space after re-signing, getting and drafting their player. That allows them to use their full mid-level exception, but it's not going to be some type of high-level free agent. More than likely, it's going to be a functional free agent that helps bring some things that they need. So that's probably what you're looking at more than anything else. Hayes, to White's credit, he has done everything that we've asked him to do. Even the season before last, he was at least trying to work on his defense, unlike a lot of players that are on this team. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Not wrong at all. So Can't move P. Willie with that. Yeah, but it's still not crippling to the team because you don't need to move it to have other mobility. So, and maybe I'm just being too little on crippling. Like, yeah, you can't move P. Will's deal, but it's not stopping the Bulls from anything that they want to do. It's just not at this point. Now, maybe it can get to that point, but we'd have to have a lot of extensions and other things. But as of right now, no, it's not crippling at all. If we keep Coby, we need to offer him a massive deal next season. If we don't plan to do that, trade him before the draft, trade him at the deadline. Would I expect another leap in stats? I don't think you have to offer him necessarily a huge deal. What are you doing? What are you doing back there? Huh? What are you doing? That's not for you. Don't tear down my stuff. Go over there. So, I mean, I don't know how big the deal is going to have to be. I don't think it's going to have to be some super mega deal. I just think that he's trying to leave his options open. I don't think Coby signs for more than 32 million personally, unless he has a huge season this year. Then that can definitely blow that out the water. So we'll see there. But all right, I got to get ready to go do Locked On NBA. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullCentralPod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.